Welcome to the 8th lecture on representations of finite groups. In lecture number 7, we showed that in a finite group, the number of equivalence classes of irreducible representations is same as the number of conjugacy classes in the group G. This gives rise to a very important object called the character table, which is basically a matrix associated to a group. So let's define it. So let G be a finite group. Finite group. Let chi1, chi2, so on, chi be the irreducible characters of the group G. Characters of G, and let C1, C2, so on, Ck be the conjugacy classes of the group G. Now since characters are class functions, they take the same value on a given conjugacy class. So thus we get a matrix whose ith row jth column entry is chi I acting on Cj. Okay, so note that it's a k by k square matrix. K by k matrix, and is called the character table or the character matrix of the group G. Very simple definition. Let's see an example. Let G be the symmetric group on 3 symbols. Then we computed all irreducible representations of the symmetric group in one of the lectures. Then G has 3 irreducible characters. Corresponding to the irreducible representations, inequivalent irreducible representations. So let me recall for you, given by, so one, I think we call it phi 1 from G to C star is one dimensional, which is a trivial representation. Notice that each group always has trivial representation. So phi 1 of any element here, sigma, is just identity of the group C star. Okay, and phi 2 from G to C star was the sign representation. Phi 2 of any sigma equals to sine of sigma. And the third one was a two-dimensional irreducible representation, phi 3 from G to GL to C, given by, I will just write it on generators. So for phi 3 acting on the transposition 1 2 was the matrix -1 -1 0 1, and phi 3 acting on the 3 cycle 1 2 3 equals to -1 -1 1 0. So once we know the representation, we can write down the characters. Then the characters are given by so for simplicity I will denote the character of phi superscript I simply by chi subscript I by chi 1 is just same as phi 1, one dimensional. Chi 2 is just same as phi 2 because they are one dimensional, and of course chi 3 you can write down. Chi 3 it is enough to just give value on the conjugacy class. There are 3 conjugacy classes in S3. So conjugacy class of the identity permutation, and it is just same as the degree of the representation, which is same as 2, and chi3 acting on 1 2, trace of this is 0, and chi3 acting on 1 2 3, here trace is -1. The character table is given by the following. So is remember here in this case it is a 3 by 3 matrix where the rows are parameterized by the characters and the columns are parameterized by the conjugacy classes. So here you can write representatives of the conjugacy classes. Here write, let's say write conjugacy class of 1, here the conjugacy class of 1 2, the conjugacy class of 1 2 3, and here the rows you parameterize by the characters. So here is chi1, chi2 and chi3. So let us write down the matrix. So chi1 is a trivial character. So in each case the value is just 1 1 1. See 1 1 1. Chi2 is a sign character. So trivial is considered as even permutation. So the value is 1 here. This is odd permutation, it is -1 here. 1 to 3 is even permutation, it is 1 here, right? And lastly chi3, character value on the trivial element of the group is the degree of the representation, so which is 2 here. On the second conjugacy class is 0 here, third conjugacy class is -1 here. So this is the character table of the symmetric group S3. So since the conjugacy classes and the irreducible representations are invariants of a group, that is isomorphic groups will have the same number of conjugacy classes, same conjugacy structure, and also the same number of equivalent representations. So therefore this character table is also an invariant of the group. Okay, so therefore if you are given 2 groups, finite groups, and you are given the character tables, these matrices, and if the matrices are distinct, then you can say that the groups cannot be isomorphic. Let's make an important observation here. Observe the columns of the character table here. So if you view each column of the character table as an element of C3, the 3-dimensional complex vector space equipped with the standard Hermitian inner product, then you see that any 2 columns are orthogonal with respect to that. If you take the standard inner product of first and second column, you see that the inner product is 0. Second and third, you see that the inner product is 0. And first and third, you see that the inner product is 0. In fact, this is a general fact. So let's prove it. Theorem. Let C and C prime be 2 conjugacy classes of a finite group. Group G, and let us take 2 elements in these conjugacy classes. Let G belong to C and say H belong to C prime. Then we have the following. Then summation chi I of G, chi I of H bar, I from 1 to k. This is same as order of the group G by order of the conjugacy class if C is same as C prime, and 0 if C is not same as C prime. Look at the left hand side carefully. You are running I from 1 to k, where k is the total number of characters, which is same as the total number of conjugacy classes. So it is like chi1 of G, chi2 of G, and so on, where G is in a conjugacy class C, and the other is chi1 of H, chi2 of H, and so on, chi k of H, where H is in the other conjugacy class. And this is the standard Hermitian inner product. And you are showing that this is non-zero if the 2 elements lie in the same conjugacy class, equivalently the two conjugacy classes are the same and 0 otherwise, and therefore this shows that columns of a character table are orthogonal to each other. So let's prove it. Let delta C be the indicator function of a conjugacy class C, that is delta C of x is 1 if x is in C and 0 if x is not in C. Recall that if chi1, chi2, chi and c1, c2, ck are the irreducible characters and the conjugacy classes of your group respectively, then both of them are orthonormal bases for the center of the group algebra. We proved this in the previous videos. Therefore, this function delta C, which is also a class function, can be written as a linear combination of the bases consisting of irreducible characters. So then I can write delta of C prime as summation inner product of delta of C prime with chi of I, where I going from 1 to k. This you can do in any inner product space which has an orthonormal basis, because delta of C prime will be some scalar linear combination of this orthonormal basis chi i's, and then if you take the inner product of delta C prime with chi I, that the same coefficient alpha I survives. So therefore I know that the coefficients are the inner product of delta C prime with chi I. Alright. So if I want to evaluate it on a group element, this should be same as this. Right. And now I just write down the definition of this inner product on the group algebra viewed as a vector space. So this is same as summation I from 1 to k, 1 by order of the group G, summation x is in the group G, delta C prime of x, chi I of x bar, chi I of G. Alright. This is same as 1 to k, 1 by order of the group G. I know that delta C prime survives only if and only if x is in C prime. So therefore this sum will run only over x is in C prime. X in C prime, and now it becomes chi I of x bar and chi I of G. Right? But this is same as order of C prime by order of the group G. I can take them out, and summation I going from 1 to k, chi I of G into chi I of H. Observe that the left hand side survives if and only if G is in C prime. So from there, therefore I can bring this constant order of C prime by order of G on the left hand side, and this implies that summation chi I of G, chi I of H, I from 1 to k is equals to order of G divided by order of C if G is in C prime, but G is in C and conjugacy classes form a partition, so they are either same or distinct. Therefore that means C is C prime if C is same as C prime, and 0 if C is not same as C prime. This shows that the columns of the character table are orthogonal with respect to the Hermitian inner product on the complex vector space Ck, where k is either the number of conjugacy classes, which is same as the number of irreducible characters of the group. I want to finish discussion about character table with this remark. Remember that I said character table is an invariant of a group, but it is quite possible that two non-isomorphic groups have the same character table. Okay, so two non-isomorphic groups can have the same character table. So we should have an example at hand. For example, quaternion group Q8 and the dihedral group D8 have the same character table. So why are the quaternion group and the dihedral group not isomorphic? An easy check shows that the dihedral group D8 has precisely 2 elements of order 2, okay, whereas the quaternion group Q8 has exactly 1 element of order 2. Okay, so they are not isomorphic, and to show that they have the same character table, we need to know all their irreducible representations and conjugacy classes. Conjugacy classes you can compute by hand, but for irreducible representation we need to do some work. Let us prove a result which gives a complete description of all irreducible representations of a finite abelian group. Recall that if you have a finite cyclic group, then you know how to compute its all irreducible representations. So this theorem will tell you how to compute all irreducible representations of any finite abelian group. So let G, H be 2 finite abelian groups let chi1, chi2 so on, say chi-s, and tau1, tau2 so on, tau-t be irreducible characters or irreducible representations. They are the same for abelian groups, be irreducible representations or characters of G and H respectively. Then the functions phi ij from G cross H to C star given by phi ij acting on a pair GH, an element of G cross H, equals to chi I of G into tau j of H, form the complete list of irreducible characters of the product group G cross H. So let's prove it. We first show that each phi ij is a group homomorphism. So consider phi ij of GH into G prime H prime, but that by definition is phi ij, and the product here is coordinate wise, so it is GG prime into HH prime, and this by definition is chi I of GG prime into tau j of HH prime, which is same as each of this chi I and tau j is a homomorphism, so it is same as chi I of G, chi I of G prime, tau j of H, tau j of H prime. Now you are in C star, which is abelian, so you can write it as chi I of G, tau j of H times chi I of G prime times tau j of H prime. But this by definition is phi ij of GH times phi ij of G prime H prime. So this shows that each of these phi ij is indeed a group homomorphism and therefore a representation of G cross H, and since it is one dimensional, it's an irreducible representation of G cross H. Furthermore, the number of conjugacy classes in G cross H is same as the number of conjugacy classes in G times the number of conjugacy classes in H, and the number of such functions phi ij is precisely coming out to be S times T, where S is the number of conjugacy classes in G and T is the number of conjugacy classes in H. Therefore, the number of these functions phi ij's is same as the number of conjugacy classes in the group G cross H, and therefore these are all the irreducible characters of the product group G cross H. So this completes the proof. Now recall that every finite abelian group by structure theorem is simply a direct product of some finite cyclic groups. And for each finite cyclic group, you know what are all the irreducible characters. So we find if your group G is a product of finite cyclic group, let us say Z mod N1Z times Z mod N2Z times say Z mod NKZ, you find all the irreducible characters of Z mod N1Z, Z mod N2Z, so on Z mod NKZ, and then take their products. Let us illustrate this by a very simple example. Take G to be Z mod 2Z times Z mod 2Z, which is not the cyclic group. It is in fact the Klein 4 group. Then the trivial character chi1 and the character chi2, which take 0 bar to 1 and 1 bar to minus 1, are irreducible characters of Z mod 2Z. In fact, they are all the irreducible characters of Z mod 2Z. So by the preceding theorem, the irreducible characters of the group G, which is product of two copies of Z mod 2Z, are given by all possible products of chi-i's, right? So take tau 1 to be chi1 chi2, tau 2 to be chi1 chi2, tau 3 to be chi2 chi1, and tau 4 to be chi2 chi2. So these are all the irreducible characters of the group G. And we can in fact write down the character table. Further, the character table of G is given by, so let us write down the conjugacy classes as columns, label the conjugacy classes. So here it is 0 bar 0 bar, because it's an abelian group, so conjugacy classes are singletons. 0 bar 1 bar, 1 bar 0 bar, and 1 bar 1 bar. All right, and we can write down tau 1, tau 2, tau 3, and tau 4. And you can, this is just point out product of function, just plugging in the values, and you see that the matrix looks like this. Let us discuss one problem here. So let phi from G to GLNC and psi from G to GLMC be two representations of a group G. Then the function tau from G to C given by tau of any G equals to take character of phi, evaluate at G, and take character of psi and evaluate out of G. This is a class preserving function, is a class function on the group G, right? Because chi phi is a class function, so it is constant on conjugacy classes of G. Chi psi is also a class function, so it's constant on conjugacy classes of G, and therefore their product is constant on conjugacy classes of G. So tau G is a class function. So question is, does there exist a representation, let us call it mu from G to some vector space GLV, such that character of mu is this tau? This is a very natural question. you have a class preserving function that you obtain from two characters. The question is whether that class preserving function is again a character of some representation, and the answer is yes. So let's figure out. So the answer is yes. So let us construct such a representation space. So let us take V to be m by nc. Okay, the vector space of all m by n complex matrices over C. Okay, and define mu from G to GLV by the following rule. So mu will take on a group element. It should be here an automorphism of this vector space. So to be an automorphism of this vector space, it has to act on vectors of V, but vectors of V are m by n matrices. So mu G will act on a m by n matrix A, and it has to map it to another m by n matrix, and the choice here is define it to be psi G A phi G transpose. My claim is that this mu is in fact a representation of the group G, and its character is precisely the class preserving function tau. First thing is, this mu is in fact a representation. To show that, we have to show it's a homomorphism. So consider mu of GH. I have to show it is same as mu of G into mu of H, but mu of little g is actually a function, so I have to show that these two agree on the vectors in V, which are basically m by n matrices. So mu of GH acting on A is same as psi of G H acting on A phi of GH transpose, but that is psi is a homomorphism, so it is same as psi of G into psi of H into A, and this is same as phi of G into phi of H whole transpose, but transpose of AB is same as B transpose A transpose, so that is same as psi of G psi of H A phi of H transpose and phi of G transpose. And matrix multiplication is associative. I can put the parenthesis wherever I like, so I can write it as psi G acting on mu H A into phi G transpose. So if I view this psi HA as an element here in V, then this is just same as mu of G acting on this element, that is mu of G acting on mu H acting on A, and this happens for all A in V. This implies that as functions, mu of GH is same as mu of G into mu of H, that is mu is a representation, is a homomorphism. Okay, so we have got a representation of the group G. All right, so let us make an observation how this representation mu act on the basis element of the vector space V. So V here is the space of all m by n matrices over complex numbers, and a canonical basis for this can be taken as all those m by n matrices which has 1 at the ijth entry and 0 everywhere else. So there will be precise m times n such matrices, alright, which is the dimension of this vector space also. So let us see how mu act on such vectors. So claim is, consider mu of G acting on a matrix EKL, where EKL is a matrix which has 1 at the KLth position and 0 everywhere else. Alright, so just write down. So this, by definition, this is psi of G EKL into phi of G transpose. Okay, but you know the entry, there is only one non-zero entry in this matrix, and you can actually find out the entry, which turns out to be summation psi I k of G phi j L of G times Eij. Okay, observe that this is a complex number, this is a complex number, Eij is a matrix, and run over I and j. So I have found the value of this operator mu g on this basis element. So I have to again write it as a linear combination of this basis. It turns out to be this linear combination. Observe that this is a complex number. Alright, you can actually directly check, and how you can check is find out the ijth entry of this product, and you can see that the ijth entry of this product is simply this one, psi ikg and phi jlg. So now once you have this, we can easily find what is the character of the representation mu. So then the character of the representation mu is given by chi mu of g, which is the trace of the operator mu sub g, right? But what is the trace of this operator? It is the sum of the diagonal entries, and you know it acts on the basis EKS as follows. So therefore the trace is going to be sum of the entries of the sum of the coefficients of EKL here when you evaluate mu g at EKL, right? So that means you look at the coefficient here when I is k and j is L. When I is k, that means it becomes psi kkg, and when j is L, it becomes phi llg. So therefore the character value is psi kkg into phi llg, and the summation runs over k and L. Alright, but now observe this, the summation over psi kkg is the trace of psi, and summation over phi llg is the trace of the representation psi at g. So this is basically just the product. So this is basically the product of psi kkg as you run over k times summation phi ll of g as you run over L, and this turns out to be just chi phi of g times chi psi of g, right? And which I have set as tau of g. Alright, so this shows that given two representations, you take their characters and take their pointwise product. It's a class preserving function. It turns out that that class preserving function is indeed a character of some representation, and the representation can be explicitly constructed like this. Let us generalize the preceding example to product of groups. So let psi from G to GLMC and phi from H to GLNC be representations of G and H respectively. Let us take V to be the vector space of all m by n matrices over C with the standard basis consisting of matrices EKLs, which has 1 at the KL position and 0 everywhere else, and define this map mu from G cross H to GLV by the following rule. So mu of GH, I want to be a linear transformation, invertible linear transformation of the vector space V, and how it act on a vector V, vector of V, which is a m by n matrix, we define it as follows. So mu of GH acting on A is psi G A phi of H transpose. You can check that it makes sense, and this is again an element of V. So first observation is that mu is a representation of G cross H, that is mu is a group homomorphism. The proof is exactly the same as the preceding example, so I will skip it. Secondly, my claim is that if you look at the characters of psi, that is chi psi, and character of phi, chi phi, and you look at their pointwise product, namely chi psi of G into chi phi of H. So this defines a map from the product G cross H into C. Right? My claim is that this complex valued function from G cross H to C can be realized as a character of some representation of G cross H. In fact, the representation is mu. So to note that we need to first check how the operator mu gh act on basis of V. So note that mu of gh of EKL by definition is psi of g EKL phi h of t, right? So I want to write it in terms of the basis Eij's. So I just find the ijth entry of this matrix. So ijth entry of this matrix turns out to be precisely this complex number psi ik of g times phi jl of h. Okay, it's a direct check, and therefore this is the coefficient of the basis vector Eij. Now from this one can easily compute the character of the representation mu as follows. So chi mu of gh therefore is the sum of the diagonal entries of the matrix mu of gh. But how do you find the diagonal entries? When you are evaluating it on a basis element EKL, just find the coefficient of EKL and then add all such coefficient running over k and l. That means I have to take I equal to k and j equal to l here. So that becomes psi kk of g phi ll of h, and I run over k and l, right? But this is just same as the product of the characters of psi and phi evaluated in g and h respectively. So thus mu is the desired representation of the product group g cross h, whose character is this pointwise product of the characters of the representation psi of g and character of the representation phi of h. In fact, in this case, if psi and phi are irreducible representations, then mu is also an irreducible representation. To check irreducibility of the representation mu, we are going to use an irreducibility criteria that we proved in one of the lectures, which states that a representation is irreducible if and only if the inner product of its character with itself is 1. Okay, so let us consider the inner product chi mu of mu with itself. So inner product chi mu with chi mu is 1 by order of the group G, which is order of the group G times order of the H, summation run over all the group element. So group is the product here, so it is G running over G, H running over H, and then chi mu of GH, okay, and chi mu of GH bar. All right, but here we just computed chi mu of GH, which is chi psi of G into chi phi of H. All right, so therefore I can write it as chi psi of G, chi phi of H, this term, and chi psi of G, chi phi of H bar, the second term, right? But now this can be split as follows. This is simply 1 by order of the group G, summation G in the group G, chi psi of G into chi psi of G bar, and the second term is analogous for the group H. But what is this? This is just the inner product of chi psi with itself, and this is just the inner product of chi phi with itself. All right, and now if the representations psi and phi are given to be irreducible, then the inner product of their character chi psi with itself is 1, and similarly the inner product of chi phi with itself is 1. So therefore this turns out to be 1, and therefore the representation mu is also irreducible. Let me make one more claim. Each irreducible representation of the product group G cross H can be obtained in this manner. What does that mean? That means if I take any irreducible representation of G cross H, then it comes from an irreducible representation of G and an irreducible representation of H. Let's see why that is the case. So let us say psi 1, psi 2, so on, psi k be a complete list of inequivalent irreducible representations of G, and phi 1, phi 2, so on, phi l be a complete list of inequivalent irreducible representations of H. Then for each I from 1 to k and each j from 1 to l, you define mu ij from G cross H to GLV as follows by the same formula actually. So mu ij of GH acting on an element A of this vector space V to be psi I G A phi j of HT. Okay, where V is the vector space of all m by n matrices over C, with m being the degree of psi I and n being the degree of phi j. Okay, so then from point number 3 we know that since psi I and phi j are irreducible, therefore mu ij is also irreducible, right? And this you get for each I between 1 and k and each j between 1 and L. Therefore you have at least k times L irreducible representations of G cross H, where k is also the number of conjugacy classes in G and L is also the number of conjugacy classes in H. But we know that the number of conjugacy classes in direct product of two groups is same as the number of conjugacy classes in G times the number of conjugacy classes in H. Thus, mu ij's are all possible irreducible, inequivalent irreducible representations of the group G times H. Let me conclude this lecture by computing all inequivalent irreducible representations of the quaternion group Q8. Recall that Q8 has 8 elements which we represent by plus minus 1, plus minus I, plus minus j and plus minus k, subject to the relations I square equal to j square equal to k square equals to I j k equals to minus 1. So from theory we know that the number of equivalence classes of irreducible representations of Q8 is same as the number of conjugacy classes in Q8. Since Q8 has just 8 elements, a direct check shows that the number of conjugacy classes in Q8 are the following. So there is this conjugacy class of the identity element, conjugacy class of minus 1, and then conjugacy class of I minus I, j minus j and k minus k. So in total there are 5 conjugacy classes. So from theory now we know that there must exist 5 inequivalent irreducible representations of Q8. Now also we know that each degree 1 representation of a finite group comes from the degree 1 representation of its abelianization. Abelianization is the group modulo its commutator subgroup. So you can directly check that the commutator subgroup of Q8 is just this 2 element subgroup plus minus 1. Okay, and when you go modulo this, it should be abelian. In fact, it turns out to be z mod 2z direct sum z mod 2z. So in this lecture itself we computed all inequivalent irreducible representations of z mod 2z times z mod 2z. Therefore we can retrieve all degree 1 representations of the quaternion group from here. I will explain that later on. So now we know that there must exist one more irreducible representation of Q8 to make it 5, and let us say its degree is d. Then we know that sums of the squares of the degrees of all inequivalent irreducible representation is equal to order of the group. Therefore 1 square plus 1 square plus 1 square plus 1 square plus d square should be 8, which implies that d has to be 2. So now we define an explicit degree 2 representation of Q8 and we show that it is in fact irreducible. So let me define phi from Qa to Gl to C by setting this. Phi of 1 is the identity matrix, of course, being a homomorphism. Phi of minus 1 is minus of the identity. Phi of I is I0 0 minus I, and phi of minus I is minus of phi of I. And similarly I define phi of plus minus j and phi of plus minus k. One can check easily that it's a homomorphism. Now I use a criteria for irreducibility of representation, which says that a representation is irreducible if and only if the inner product of its character with itself is 1. So let us compute the character chi phi, this inner product in the group algebra, that is 1 by order of the group, summation G belong to the group, chi phi of G bar. So what is chi phi of 1? It has to be 2, which is degree of the representation. So 2 into 2, 2 square. Of minus 1, it is minus of 2, so minus of 2 square. And here notice that the character in each case is 0 because the trace is 0 here. So nothing is contributed, which becomes 8 by 8, that is 1. And therefore the representation phi must be irreducible. Now if phi 1, phi 2, phi 3 and phi 4 from Z mod 2Z times Z mod 2Z to C star are all the irreducible representations that we in fact computed in this lecture itself, then psi 1, psi 2, psi 3, psi 4 from Q8 to C star are the irreducible representations of the quaternion group Q8, where each psi I is just pi composed with phi I, where pi from Q8 to Q8 modulo is commutator, which is isomorphic to Z mod 2Z times Z mod 2Z, is the natural quotient map. Okay, so you take any element of the quaternion and map it to its coset, which you identify to an element of Z mod 2Z times Z mod 2Z by this isomorphism, and then apply the phi i's. Okay, then all these psi i's are also irreducible, and therefore phi, psi 1, psi 2, psi 3, psi 4 is the complete list of inequivalent irreducible representations of the quaternion group Q8. Okay, so today we computed all inequivalent irreducible representations of the quaternion group. We also know how to compute all inequivalent irreducible representations of any abelian group. We have also computed all inequivalent irreducible representations of the symmetric group S3. So I will stop this lecture here. Thank you.